I'm Mike Albers. I'm a senior defenseman and midfielder, and I go to Penn State Harrisburg.
Some of the developments we are tracking: global cases of confirmed coronavirus.
We all know that most of the sporting events have been either postponed or canceled at this point.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed.
Is suspending the season. University or professional athletes who may test positive for COVID-19.
They all revolve around something that's very relevant to us now, which is the COVID-19 pandemic, specifically how it relates to athletes, recreational, all the way to professional.
Expert said, you can't play.
So I started playing soccer in first grade, so either 6 or 7 years old, and I remember that first year, honestly, like it was yesterday. I started out, it was just an intramural league, and unfortunately I wasn't able to go to many practices for my team. It just didn't line up with my schedule, with my parents' schedule. I was lucky enough to where another team in that league, one of the coaches was able to bring me on for practices, got a lot of reps in with them. So I really got to know those guys, got to know the coach, and then that coach ended up being the coach of the all-star team eventually, which then turned into the travel team. So I got called up to both of those teams, and that's where it all started. So it's a pretty stressful environment. Parents, coaches, they want to tell you that it's all fun, but it's really more than that, especially if you care the way that I did, my teammates did, my coaches did. Being a defender, I think that it's a very stressful position. The margin of error is very small. If you make an error playing defense, it could lead to a counterattack, could lead to a goal. And having such a small frame, such a small build at such a young age, made playing defense even tougher. And playing in a lot of showcases, it's hard to get a lot of attention being so small as a defender. A lot of coaches, higher levels, they look for a lot of bigger guys, and I just wasn't that. So I really had to rely on my skill, have a lot of confidence in myself in order to be successful in those environments. I attended William Tennant High School in Warminster, PA. It's about 10 minutes from my house, not even. It was, it had its pros and cons. Obviously I was blessed, I was thankful to have that opportunity. It was tough not having someone to relate with, though, being the only freshman. But the varsity group, they really brought me in. They really, they made sure that I had everything I needed to be successful in terms of where my mental state was at, in terms of my confidence, and making sure that I knew that I could play with anybody that we went up against. So they really helped me in that sense. Yeah, it's something that I always had growing up. And that comes a lot from my dad. He wasn't a soccer guy, but he knew sports. So one thing that he always pounded into me was make sure you're a leader, make sure you're doing the right things. So since a young age, since my first team, Southampton, when I played club, we have voted on captains. The team voted on captains. I wasn't voted, but within a week of the vote, my coach named me a third captain, and that was honestly the start of it. It was the first team I was on, and I've been a captain on every team since then. So recruitment for college soccer really starts your junior year, and my junior year I started out playing at Ukrainian Nationals. I had a great experience there, loved every bit of it, and then I ended up moving to YMS, Yardley Makefield Soccer, and again, great experience there. Like I said, coaches weren't really biting, not many offers, so it was really just me reaching out, doing my best to get myself out there. When I realized the offers weren't coming, it was just, where can I play? Who will give me a shot? And that's about it. Going into my freshman year of college, I ended up deciding to go to Penn State Abington as a communications major. Honestly, it was tough when I first started out because I knew my coach wanted to play me, and a lot of the guys were telling me, I'm going to make an impact from the start. But I see myself as a versatile player, and so did my coach, and he struggled to find a fit for me, quite honestly. I think the first 7 games of the year or so, I started at a different position each game. I never started at the same position in back-to-back games. So it was hard to adjust, but once I found my home at center mid, it was great. As you mentioned, five goals, 4-game winners. I couldn't have asked for a better start, honestly. My teammates really helped me out, and they made me a lot better, so I'm really thankful for that. The NEAC championship was the best thing I could have asked for going into my freshman year. It's the first time in school history that we won the NEAC championship. First time in school history we went undefeated in the regular season. So honestly, it was a picture-perfect start. And to cap it off with a goal in the 88th, 89th minute, whatever it was, it was a special moment, not only for me, but for my teammates. And we all wanted to do it for our coach. He was there for 13 years, and that program was not at the point where it is now. It was a completely different program when he got there. So just seeing that joy on his face, seeing the joy on my teammates' face, it really meant everything. Being a Division III school, we don't have much of a spring season, but the little spring season we did have, we quite honestly didn't because of Corona. And at that time, we didn't really know what Corona was or what COVID was. So we're all thinking, come fall, we're going to have a season. We're going to do the same thing that we did, the first 3 years, just without a spring season leading up to it. So I was pretty optimistic. I thought for sure that come fall we'd play, but it's not the case. So around probably June, I ended up transferring to Penn State Harrisburg, and obviously soccer being such a big part of my life, it was a big part of the decision to transfer. So obviously I was under the impression that we were going to play, that I was going to get a chance to play my senior season out at Penn State Harrisburg. And talking to the coach, he was as optimistic as I was. And he was told by the people above him that we were looking good to have a season. So I was excited. I was getting ready just like everybody else. I knew there obviously was a chance, so did he. And I'm sure the people above him knew that there was obviously a chance that we wouldn't play. But everyone was optimistic come May, June when I decided to transfer. So what went into the transfer decision? Back in about March, our head coach decided that he wanted to go and coach at Drexel University as an assistant coach. I was so happy for him. He deserved that entirely. And then during the same time, one of my best friends on the team, one of the most talented players we have, Jose, he ended up transferring to Penn State, Maine, in hopes to play there, and he is now. He's killing it. And then a few months later, another one of my best friends, Sebastian, decided to transfer to Penn State Harrisburg. So I was looking at the team, and knowing who I came in with was still there, and it was tough. I still had a lot of love for the guys. I still had the team is still so promising. They have so much to accomplish, and I'm really excited to see where they're going. But it was tough for me not seeing faces that I came in there with. Not having those three there would have been really tough on me mentally, and I wasn't there when Coach Dave announced that he was going to leave. So he did what he could. He called me, made sure I knew what was going on since I wasn't there. And at this time, Sebastian had already transferred, and the thoughts that I just said were going through my head. And I was honest with him, and I was like, Coach, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. Harrisburg is in our conference. I got a lot of love for these guys on the team right now. Is it a bad look for me to not give up on these guys, but leave them in my last year and go to the team that just won the NEAC championship my junior year? And he gave me an honest answer, which I'm so thankful for. He just said, do what's best for you, do what's going to make you happy, and that's exactly what I did. This transfer to Harrisburg, honestly, it gave me my love, my desire back for the sport, which I was kind of losing just because I wasn't going to be there with like I said, the people that were there from the start, and Jose, Coach Dave, and Seb, and especially since Seb's transferring to Penn State Harrisburg as well, he's helped me along the way too, and it's really made it almost a seamless transition. And I couldn't be more thankful for the people that helped me get there, and also the Abington boys for everything they did for me over the years and the continued support they've shown since I've transferred.